Ready? Call this special board meeting of USD 350 Board of Education to order. Welcome visitors, since we don't have any, and continuous learning.
Okay, we need to approve the waiver, and I'll go over that here. I'll share that screen with you all. You guys see that? Screen okay? Okay. So y'all should have the motions there. I gave you a paper copy also. But the waiver application, this is really just to, since schools are closed, we can't really count all those hours that we have with the kids. So we need to have a waiver for that. Every school district has to do this. So that's the application here. The schools were closed by the governor. 869 and a half hours is what we were open for the school year up through March 13, I guess is when they cut everything off. We didn't have school that day, but so we're asking for a waiver of 246 and a half hours. To do that, we need to assure to the state that we're doing certain things. One is to develop a continuous learning plan, which is essentially just we're going to do our best to continue to educate the kids in a remote environment, and that's what our plan is. Assurance that we will pay our employees based on a plan that we have. The state was adamant about they did not want thousands and thousands of people in the unemployment lines. We're going to get our funding as we normally would. They want our employees paid even if we're not requiring them to come to work. So that's one of the things we'll talk about here in a bit too. And we'll send this plan to KSDE before April 8th. When we approve this, I'll send it today. We will enroll any new students. If we have students move into the district, we still need to enroll them. And then we'll have a health and safety policy limiting opportunity for staff and students and families to be exposed to pathogens. I don't have an official policy here because it changes day by day. What we close and what we keep open and what we do is a day-by-day process. So I won't review all of these things with you. I sent it to you last night. I apologize, it was kind of late. We just really got it put together late yesterday afternoon. Do you have any questions about all these individual items? So all of this information that we put in this this waiver, this continuous learning plan, essentially comes from this. We put together our plan so we could start this week with our learning. This memo I sent to families really just condenses that information to stuff that the parents would really need to know. The entire waiver packet that we've got to approve includes a few more items that may not be of use to parents. So essentially, everything's going to be done online or remotely. There may be special situations that we have a kid come in, work one-on-one with a paraprofessional or special ed teacher or English language learner. We may have some seniors come in and complete a project, but anybody that comes in the building, that needs to be approved with administrative approval. So, and that would change day by day whether we allow that. Right now we have no plans to bring any kids into the building. So we're sending some information home, some worksheets, things like that, and a lot of it's being done remotely.
At this point, do we have any student that hasn't been reached out to, or any parents that have not reached out to the school?
Every family has been contacted in some way. We had families fill out that survey. The ones that did not fill it out, our office has made calls to those people and connected with them. So we had a connection with everybody. This week, I think we have a handful of kids that maybe have not done what they're supposed to do yet, or couldn't get connected, whatever. But this is, we've been through 2 days of it.
Right.
So
It's early.
It's early, yep. And this is not intended to be just like schools. I think you've seen the time requirements for secondary, we're talking max 3 hours a day, and less for younger kids. So
Are those kids that were working with Mark Bryant, is that just done?
I believe so,
Okay.
yes. The question was about kids working with Mark Bryant. Some would work at the store or work around the community, but yes, I think that's
Okay.
done.
Right.
Yeah.
At this point.
Okay. I saw one, Elisa, if you could go in on the assurances document and put the date instead of putting 350 on there. Just those little,
Yeah, I'll do that, yeah. Oh, okay. So Derek and I will sign the assurances and the waiver application, so we just need approval from the board to send that to the state.
Mr. President, I move that the board approve the waiver application, assurances document, and the continuous learning plan application, and direct Mr. Meyer to submit it to KSDE.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the board approve the waiver application assurances document and the continuous learning plan application and direct the superintendent to submit to KSDE. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Motion carried. Paying employees.
Did you guys hear that?
I can't hear anything but you.
Okay, we had a motion and a second to...
All right, so we had the motion was for the board to approve the waiver application, assurances document, and continuous learning plan application, direct the superintendent to submit it to the KSDE. It's moved and seconded and voted. You guys, are you okay with that?
Yeah, go for it. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, paying employees.
We don't need any formal board action on paying employees. Some districts have taken a formal resolution, but it's in state law that we would pass that, and we just pass the assurances that we'll do that. But I did want to clarify with our staff what our intent is there. There's some messy situations, but our intent is to provide payment to employees just as they would have been paid on a typical school day. So today, Wednesday, if the employee would have worked X number of hours, we're going to pay them that many hours. We're not going to do an average of the year, because that would include, some of our people working, 15-hour day for working a ball game or something like that. We're not considering those spikes in overtime, but basically their normal daily wage.
What about the ones with supplemental contracts like the track coaches?
Supplemental contracts will be paid as well.
Okay.
That's direction from KSDE that the legislature expects those to be paid, and actually it's a formal contract, whether we have the track season or not. We've approved the
Signed
contract.
you have to pay.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are pretty easy according to law too, contract law. If an employee is not instructed to work, we do have people at home getting paid right now because I don't have anything for them to do at times. So we've got some of our staff up handing out lunches, the ones like our aides and paras. We've got our cooks working, our maintenance staff working, our office staff working. We're going to reach a point where we wanted to get through this week, and then we'll have to evaluate how many people we have coming and going and limiting access to the building. But one of the tricky things is if we have somebody that refuses to work without a valid reason, what do we do with those people? And if, you know, we're asking our cooks to come in so our kids can be fed in the community, and if we have somebody that's refusing to work or doesn't have a valid reason, I think our choices are pretty slim on what we do, but it gets pretty complicated. We do want people to clock in and out, even if we're paying them 8 hours, but I'm only requiring them to work 2 hours. They need to clock in for those 2 hours. There are a few situations where somebody has regular overtime on a typical day. They might have 8.5 hours or something like that. We're going to pay them 8.5 hours. But if I was planning to work the track meet and get overtime, we're not paying that, because that's an activity that could have been canceled and we wouldn't have paid it anyway because of weather or whatever. So it's a challenging situation. We've got some people working, required to work, and they're getting paid, and some they're not working right now and they're still getting paid too. So do you have any questions on any of this? There is a federal law with, I sent you this document too. If there's a situation that somebody is quarantined or falls ill because of the COVID-19 virus, you know, there's some stipulations there, but that all revolves around that virus. If the doctor's requiring them to stay at home because of the threat of this virus, but if somebody's got strep throat, you know, it doesn't apply there. But we'll continue to work with people. It's just a tough spot. So,
Okay.
that's all I had on that.
Graduation.
Yeah, go ahead, Vance.
Have you considered having like 2 different shifts in case somebody is exposed and so you don't lose your whole crew?
Yeah, did you guys hear that? Yes, we're going to talk about that here in the next day or so. I've asked Sandra to look at maybe we can run 2 crews for the lunch. I'm not sure if that's possible. Actually, in Tonganoxie, they had one of their food service workers was infected with the virus, and they had to shut down their whole crew. And if that happened to us, we'd just shut down for the entirety. I think we just don't have anybody that knows the equipment back there. And in our district office, we're going to look at running a different schedule, because if the 3 of us in the district office all went down, we'd be hard pressed to get payroll checks and receipt funds and do all that.
Okay, that was a concern of mine. Maybe we just need to split teams up in case we did have an exposure, so we didn't lose everybody.
Yep, that's exactly right. Yeah. So we're going to look at that, finishing out this week, for start that next week.
Okay.
Any other questions on this, on paying people? Okay.
Okay. Graduation.
On our graduation requirements, we are recommending that we, here is the total credits of 25, and then there's all these that are required. This doesn't change any of that. That's according to state minimums. You know, we have to get those credits. But we'd recommend making the total 21. Just gives those seniors some options if they don't want to do all of their classes. If they feel like they don't need to get the additional credit for their PE class, they don't have to. For their choir, whatever. So just giving them options. I know one senior that lives in my house, you know, she's probably going to do all of her classes because they're important for her to continue on. she thinks she needs those to be prepared for college, so they're not all just going to give up and quit. Vance had asked earlier in a phone conversation about another school district is giving the option of you just take your third quarter grade, and if you're happy with that, that's it. I did check with that district, and I don't know that that's their intent, that kids do nothing, and I don't know that that will be approved by the state. But just to give credit if they do nothing, but that is their grading policy that they've published, so if they're happy with their third quarter grade, that's the way it stays. So again, I don't think we can just tell kids you don't have to do anything the rest of the year, and we'll just go ahead and give you credit. And we need to make an effort to fill the gaps. Our philosophy's been, we're just going to do the minimum that the kids need to be prepared for the next level. So that's our philosophy, and get the credit. So that it'll be pretty limited on what's done in each class. But for now, what we're recommending is just make that minimum 21 credits, just for this class.
Now, just to clarify, if a student decides not to continue, like we have students who are office aides, we can't do anything with that, they would get 1/4 of a credit on their transcript for that third 9 weeks.
Right.
I think
So you
that's,
end up with, so Mr. White said if a kid decides he doesn't want to do the class, we can give them a 1/4 credit for the semester, and then they just stop there. So if they don't want to finish up calculus, they don't have to, and they just take a 1/4 credit for that semester and be done with it. So we do have that option to not do it, as long as I think all of our kids have 21 credits
yes,
right now.
all of them have 21, but all of them need to finish English and government.
And all need to finish English and government, and a few need to finish up a different required course that's on that list. In our grading policy, we're not saying that grades will not go down. Just like with that district I was talking about, if you don't have any accountability, that you just take your third quarter grade and you don't have to do anything, you'll get full credit. There's no accountability there, but there needs to be a darn good reason if a grade goes down during this difficult time. So do what we can, fill in the gaps, but there's some sort of measure of accountability there.
I'm glad we do have accountability. Mr. President, I move the board approve the reduction in the graduation requirements for the SJH class of 2020 to 21 total credits.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the board approve the reduction in graduation requirements for the SJH class of 2020 to 21 total credits. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. Okay, board meeting procedures.
Okay, next thing on the list is our board meeting procedures. With our limits of the number of people we can have in the building or in a room in a confined space, for now, I think here's my recommendation, is that we meet in this location. We can have administration and board clerk and all 7 board members in here, and meet that limit of 10. And then we would have, the public can observe the meeting via cable channel and see it recorded later. If there are people that have business with the board, if we need a teacher to speak to the board, we can provide that Zoom link. Right now, I wouldn't do a public Zoom link. We do have public observation in that way, but that would be limited to board members or staff members that have business with the board. And then patron comments, we have that section in our regular board meetings. If we want to continue that, I would suggest we just have them submit in writing, and then board president can determine whether we read those aloud or not. And as you know, we don't have a lot of patron comments anyway, so this will get us through till we get out of this situation.
Josh, I've heard some people say that the Zoom has been hacked. A few things you guys haven't done at all.
Yeah, Darren asked, Zoom could be hacked. Yeah, that's the concern. That's why I wouldn't want to make it a public link. And there's some settings on here that, you can make it where anybody can sign in anonymously and observe the meeting. The concern there, I can set it to where everybody is muted, so the public watching can't participate, can't talk. But an individual can share their screen, and what's happened is some jokers that happened to a school board in Kansas a few weeks ago, that somebody logged into their meeting and was observing it and shared their screen, and it had inappropriate things on it. But there's a setting where you can not allow that. So it can be compromised, but there's settings that should keep it safe. But it's a danger and it's something to worry about. So it'd be my recommendation to approve these procedures until such time we can do something different.
Mr. President, I move the board approve the emergency board meeting procedures as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the board approve the emergency board meeting procedures as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay.
Not to jump subjects, but when you're talking about that Zoom, what about for the kids? Have they been notified on how the right procedures to be set up on their computers, not to be hacked or anything come through while they're on Zoom?
Yeah, the question was about the kids on Zoom. Have they been instructed? It would really be more for the teachers, that when they set up a meeting for their class, that they have their things set up correctly. But there needs to be a private Zoom meeting where you're only sharing the link with your class, or like in this situation, our group.
Because initially, whoever sets it up is
Yeah,
going to have.
yeah, whoever sets it up needs to know those settings.
All right, other updates?
I didn't really have anything else. I just wanted to make sure this was on the agenda, since we can't really do anything other than what's on the agenda at a special meeting. So I just left this on there, that item number 5, that if there's anything else you had questions about for us regarding our situation that we're in.
What if, we're still going to meet a week from next Monday?
Yeah, regular board meeting will be as scheduled.
Are we going to talk about negotiations at that point?
I don't know.
Okay.
The question was, are we going to talk about negotiations? And I don't know. I won't have any information at that point to know what we're going to do. Probably not. I mean, as a board, our team will likely get together to discuss things here in the next several weeks. But
Playground's all shut down.
yeah, playground is shut down. Just the equipment, the basketball courts, and the tennis courts and the track. That's open for now, unless the health department directs us to do different. It's just very difficult to police. But we want to keep that track open, and the tennis court, there's areas they can stay separate pretty easy. Any other questions? Or Mr. White, was there anything?
I'll be visiting the seniors tomorrow via Zoom about possible graduation alternatives. We'll move forward and try to have something planned for them.
Mr. White's talking to the seniors about graduation this week. Get some ideas for how we handle that. So, all activities for now are postponed. I mean, obviously the sports are done, our spring sports season. The trap shooting, they're delaying that season, but we're not going to be able to do anything. It's going to be in the summer. I don't know if we'll be able to do our summer activities, open things up. It's just a day-by-day situation. So, you know, the music trip is obviously canceled. Junior, senior play is canceled. All the other activities like prom and graduation, we'll see what we can do.
Has this affected scholarship applications?
No, it hasn't affected scholarship applications.
Mrs. Hager sent out, you know, the old scholarship, the people who grant scholarships, just to explain that we won't have the night, you know, the presentation night. They all said they would still give the scholarships.
Yeah, and the senior night, we're still gonna do the scholarships, and there'll be another situation where maybe we can do videos or something of scholarship presentations or some things like that. But if you have other questions that we didn't answer today, feel free and reach out to me.
Okay. Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. Motion carried. Thanks, guys.